Welcome to Navigating Your 20s. I'm your host, Jess and I am so excited to have you here. I'm an online personal trainer and nutritionist, but honestly, underneath it all, I am just a girl who is struggling, thriving, and surviving somehow all at once. So if this is you, you are not alone. If you want all the juicy tea on what it's like to be a girl navigating her 20s, I'm talking relationships, health, fitness, social life, work, and everything in between, then you're in the right place. If you're feeling like you are constantly behind in life, you most likely have life dysmorphia. And trust me, I know this sounds absolutely insane because I didn't really realize what this was until I started researching on the thoughts and the feelings and the patterns around this and realize that this is actually a thing. So we really need to catch up. Like life dysmorphia, it is so much similar to body dysmorphia. When you think things are almost worse than they are, it's like when you look in the mirror and you think you look bad, but you actually look 10 out of 10. You're just convincing yourself that you don't look 10 out of 10 and you don't look so lean and all of the things. It's like we could be our leanest and still think we look bad. And how many times have you been in that phase where you literally are at your absolute leanest? You're convinced though that you look at your absolute worst. You look overweight, you look like flabby, you look bloated, whatever the insert the thing that you call yourself here. And then you might take photos in that time. 6 months down the track, looking at those photos, you're like, wow, I actually looked so good here. But in the moment, you thought you looked absolutely terrible. That's the same with life dysmorphia. It's like when your life looks fine on paper, everyone says it's like good, everyone thinks that you're doing really, really good, but like deep down it feels really wrong because you're zoomed in on all of the flaws. So for example, like you've got the dream job, you've got the dream relationship, you've got that great friendship group, like you've got your girls, like, but you're still questioning, you're still comparing, you're still feeling behind. And feeling behind is something I really want to talk about because I just think if you are on the right track, you're never behind. I was speaking to one of my friends about this recently and she was telling me about how she's changed a few like degrees and jobs and all of the things. And then I like said something, I can't remember what I said, but I was like, oh my God, like it's going to take you so long to finish now because like you've started so late. And then she was like, don't, like I already know I'm behind. And I was like, no, I didn't mean it like that. Like I'm just thinking, oh my God, like what can we do on the side? Like I'm a little like business gal nowadays. So I see everything as like a business opportunity. And I was like, what if you started up this at home and did your own studio? What are you going to do about, like I was like, you come to me for health and fitness, but you get business advice because I just see so much potential in my girls to do more. And if you're not feeling something deep down and something feels off, it could be dysmorphia. And I said to her, you're not behind. If you're really happy on the path you're on and it feels great and it feels so aligned when the other ones didn't, you're doing great. You're not behind. You might be behind in terms of like the years, but it doesn't actually matter. Like there is no timeline anymore. And I think we've really been spending the last few years post-COVID kind of breaking down that timeline and making it almost not exist anymore, because who's to say that you need to have kids in your mid-20s? Why can't you have them your late 20s, your early 30s, your mid-30s? Some people are even having them in their late 30s. Like I know biologically, you know, but if you're majority healthy, all of the things, this is not the conversation today, but like you can really very much do anything because health is wealth. And if you've got good health, like there's so much that you can do. Anyway, sorry, going on. So in the comparison to like the body dysmorphia, like it's like not actually seeing yourself in a clear, honest, truthful light. Your kind of brain confuses you with it, and it happens with our life with social media highlight reels. Something I've been noticing more and more and more, even more than when I've brought this up last time. Every second person is getting engaged. Every second person is eloping, going to like having magnificent international weddings, going on extreme honeymoons, buying dogs, having kids, just pregnancy announcements. Like I just feel like things are everywhere at the moment, and I'm like, whoa, like I literally can't even go on Facebook without seeing some type of something. I feel like even every celebrity has been announcing like pregnancies, like influencers and celebrities, and I just feel like it's all over our feed. Or even like everyone's like purchasing houses and properties and renovating and having investment properties, and I'm like, oh my God, like this is crazy. And it has this pressure around it to have it all by our like mid-20s, early to mid. Some of us are like literally so young. Some of us like listening to this are like 2021. Some of my girls are like 2021 and they're like, oh my God, like I need to have a house. I'm like, no, you don't. It's just because we feel like we need to, just based on social media and the highlight reel of it all. And don't get me wrong, like I don't think I ever come across with like, oh my God, I'm doing all of this, because I try to keep a lot of things like private in terms of like
my personal life doesn't matter too much. Like what I'm doing behind the scenes doesn't matter too much. And sometimes like my clients who are my like good friends who I've like trained for years will like find things out and they're like, why'd you never tell me? I'm like, I just don't really find the point in like showing off about it, because it creates this comparison cycle. And it's so true, because there is someone that I love, but she is doing the most. Like she's got a multi-million-dollar business. She has just renovated her first property. Like I actually really am inspired by her and look up to her and all of the things. But then sometimes I'm like, fuck, she just has it all. But that's what I think from socials. I don't actually know what's going on behind the scenes. When like deeply behind the scenes though, like she was really struggling with like her weight and her skin and her hormones and things like that. So just remember, it's not always like what it seems. And like she's still an inspiration to me regardless of her struggles. But it's just like really nice to, if you don't have access to the layers, obviously I have access to those layers because I know her a bit more personally. But if you don't, just remember that there's always things behind the scenes. And even on that like quick little baby chat, they might be trying to have a baby and struggling and they're not sharing that. So just remembering that just because someone else's life looks perfect, you don't actually remember what's happening behind the scenes. Just because social media is making it like look perfect and creating this self-comparison doesn't actually make it true. And the signs of like kind of life dysmorphia is like thinking everyone has it better and not being able to rationalize, constantly like dismissing your wins. And I see my girls do this all the time. They'll like be like, oh, I did this, but like whatever. I'm like, that is amazing. That's amazing. That's such a big win. And I'm not here to blow smoke up your ass. When my girl I said, I look at your photos, I feel like your change is like really seen there. You're looking 10 out of 10. She's like, I can't see any difference. And I'm like, I would never lie to you. I'm not here to blow smoke up your ass. I'll be honest, if I don't think you're doing the work, and you truly are. If you're dismissing your wins, it's because you're comparing and you're not thinking you're good enough. You're on your own journey. Don't worry about everyone else's results and timelines. It's not about them. It's about you. Next, if you're always fantasizing about your new life, and don't get me wrong, I'm a little manifestation queen sometimes. Like it's so good to look forward, but sometimes you can look so far forward that you then feel isolated in the moment and feel like, fuck, I'm never going to get there. I'm never going to achieve that. Like that's not for me. When in reality, you will. It's just right now you're putting so much pressure on it and it feels so far out of reach. But if you keep chipping away every single day, you will get there. And I felt the same way before. There's like things that I work towards, and then my like mum or someone will make a comment. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, and then I just get in a bad mood about it. And I'm like, what are you fucking like? It's just so, no. So you just got to come back to like what you're doing, remind yourself what's important, keep doing the daily non-negotiables to get there, whether that's saving for your first holiday, whether that is looking at a house, whether that's just like literally saving up to buy a new wardrobe, like whatever the fuck you want to spend your money on, or whatever the fuck you want to work towards, health and fitness, like whatever the thing is, just keep ticking the boxes every single day and showing up in a way that you know is going to get you to where you want to be, rather than comparing, asking for external opinions and all of the things. Lastly, it's just never feeling satisfied even when you got what you wanted. A lot of us move on so quickly. It's like you could be working towards a house and then you get like the house, or you get your loan or whatever, and then you're just like, no, celebrate every step of the way. Or you're working towards a 10 kilo weight loss and you've lost 2 kilos. Oh, I've only lost 2 out of 10. No, I've lost 2 kilos. Wow, not I've only lost 2 out of 10. You know what I mean? So really like calling yourself out on that area of like never being satisfied, never being acceptant of the wins, like being like, you need to be proud of yourself or you're going to burn out and feel like shit. So knowing how this kind of pops up is like, if you're thinking, I need to change jobs, I'm so behind, I'm doubting every move about myself, that is like you have life dysmorphia. You don't need to change everything just when something like is going a little bit bad, or thinking all your friends are outgrowing you or talking behind your back or not hanging out with you. And yes, again, this is valid. Context is so dependent, but 9 times out of 10, are you just convincing yourself that's happening? Because a lot of friends get jealous and really like I don't even have a word for it, but just like jealous and competitive almost with the fact that their friends have other friends. If you're that person getting jealous, where can you just put more energy and time into yourself? There is no need to be jealous. There is enough room for everyone. Your life is still great, even if your friend has other friends. You know what I mean? For dating, settling for crumbs, or constantly chasing better or different, or going from relationship to relationship, stop trying to change elements of your life. I know I've done an episode on this, but the inner work, it literally comes from you. You need to navigate and be in that period of loneliness. You can't just go straight from relationship to relationship. You need to live in loneliness to actually figure out what you want in life, what your life is looking like, and all of the things. Stop comparing your clothes, your apartment, your decor in your room, your lifestyle, your body to TikTok strangers. TikTok can be the worst for it. I'm so glad that I didn't really like grow up with TikTok. I didn't even get it straight away in the pandemic. I think I didn't really get it until like 2021, maybe even 2022, because I just find it so toxic. You see everyone else on their extravagant holidays, like celebrities and influencers on constant cruises, getting like literally gifted the cruise, being paid to promote the cruise, and it's just really unrealistic, but it feels realistic because that's our constant feed, just seeing them all living their best lives, and that's great for them. Like, I don't want this to be like a place of jealousy. Like, that is not my intention. I'm not jealous of these people. I think influencing can be really hard work as well, but it's just like not reality. And I think our reality is really warped since the pandemic as well, because we are almost thinking like we need to be on constant holidays and we need to have things to look forward to. But like, God forbid, we just are happy with our lives as is right now. And like, one of my girls, she has been killing the game. She's looking so great. She's getting so many compliments from people, but she's been going through like some relationship changes and things like that. And she's like, really focusing on that. And I was like, I would love to see you pour more into you, because look at how much you're already seeing results. I would love to see you just put everything into you and not worry about a stupid, crusty, dusty man, to be honest, because you can only figure out what you want by working on you and your life. Does your life actually need changing? Do you have life dysmorphia? I don't know. You need to figure it out by knuckling down and giving yourself the time and energy to figure it out. But it kind of can be a dangerous kind of cycle, because it keeps us in the grass is greener mode. Like, we're thinking the grass is always greener. So we're never appreciating where we're at. We're always looking forward. We can never actually take a moment to settle. And it can be damaging. If you think your current relationships and friends aren't good for you, and you're constantly saying that and thinking that, that spirals out externally and it affects other people and treats other people in a certain way. It also can lead you to burnout, always overwhelmed and thinking about these things, decision fatigue, being really impulsive, trying to like cause fights with your friends. Subconsciously, you just want to start a fight with your partner or your friends because you're done with their shit and you're not happy that they're not at that next level. But it's like, no, you have shiny object syndrome. You keep looking for the next best thing. It's the same even like in a coaching space, for example, like where you might go from coach to coach to coach to coach and you still aren't seeing results and you're blaming every other coach. But at what point do you step back and say, actually, I was the fucking problem. I wasn't tracking my food. I wasn't ticking off my sessions. I wasn't doing my steps. Like, wherever you were missing out, it wasn't actually their fault. I wasn't being honest. I was binging the cupboard at night, but not telling them and then blaming them. Meanwhile, the coach is so confused saying like, you're doing everything perfect. I can't understand why you're not losing weight. You know what I mean? So it's like, stop chasing the shiny object, build depth, work in the loneliness, like actually put in the hard yards and see how much further you get. And catch yourself out. Like I caught out my friend the other day. You're not behind. Why are you saying that? According to who? What, the societal timelines? What? Because everyone normally starts uni at like 18, 17, 18 and you're now starting that at like 20, 21. So everyone's journey is so different. One of my girls didn't even finish high school. Like, she didn't do her HSC. She's now literally studying law. Sorry? You know what I mean? Like, there's like, obviously it took years in between to do extra work to make up for not doing the HSC and stuff like that. But she did it. She's doing it a little bit later, but she did it. Another one of my girls got her like L's so late, got her P's so late, but she did it. It doesn't actually matter. It literally does not matter at all. You know what I mean? I just feel like we think it matters because the norm is, oh, get your L's as soon as you turn 16. So? Or like the norm is go straight to uni. Yeah, that's what I did. And guess what? I'm not there. Because it didn't feel aligned with me at all. I swapped degrees. I went into the law degree. Then I swapped into the psych and law degree. I was in the psych honors program and literally had to maintain I can't remember, like 5-point wham? I might have stuffed that up. It's been a while since I've gone there. And I literally only did like 6 months of law and was like, oh no, did I do a year? No, because COVID stuffed it all up. I did 6 months of law. I did a year and a bit of psych. I was in my second year when I pulled out and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I was actually maintaining the WAM and stuff, but it's not worth it. Sometimes it is not worth it to be going like full time. Literally, I was like never seeing the sun. I was never getting any fresh air. I was not going for walks. I was not looking after my health. And I was like, I'm going to come out of this overweight, unhappy, more overweight than I was, so unhappy, pale, ghostly. Not that your skin fucking matters, but you know what I mean? I wasn't even getting some sun. You know when you get the dark eyes? I actually saw that with one of my girls the other day. I was like, you're not sleeping, you're not getting in the sun, like we need to nip it in the bud. Your health is your longevity. Your fucking degree that I can shred in a shredder is not the most important thing about you, because at the end of the day, if you have this piece of paper and no fucking health, you are going to go backwards. You are going to feel shit. What's the point of that? And I'm not saying what's the point of uni. Like, there's a time and place. If you want to do something, you want to do it, you need to be there. But don't get it twisted. But why are we giving up our whole health to get a piece of paper? And some of us graduate and don't even get jobs. It's such a hard struggle to get jobs, and we've just given up everything, and we've just gained so much weight and had such bad mental health in that time for it. So you really need to catch yourself out with who you're comparing to and what you're letting go in order to have this dream life, this societal timeline life of going to uni, getting the 9 to 5, being in corporate, never seeing the sun. Literally, you are going into a 9 to 5, you're commuting to the CBD, that's even outside, so now we're doing an 8 to fucking 6. Now you're inside walls from 8 to 6, you miss all the sun. You miss all the fresh air. You miss all the daylight. That is like, I'm not living that way. I am not living that way. You need to make time for yourself. Okay. Next, you need to unfollow people on social media that are always doing little highlight reels. You need to follow grounded people who are just so honest and so authentic and so real. Like literally listening to this podcast, step 1 tick, you are so great because you know that I'm a realist. But I just think online there's girls that are constantly like acting so aesthetic, and I'm like, you could not keep that up. They're acting like they journal 24/7. They're acting like they meditate. They have this really aesthetic like video and background and clean space, and I'm like, that's a lie. I'm not believing that for a minute. That is a lie, and I know you can't maintain it. No one can. That's why half of us can't even journal, and that's not a shame thing, but half of us cannot even journal because it feels so structured and rigid. Imagine that aesthetic lifestyle. And sometimes it's nice to see them, but you know the TikToks where they're like moving things every 5 seconds and all like snappy? Those take hours to film. What the hell? Literally that's unrealistic. Your bedroom's not going to look like that. Zoom out. Do your journals. Do your brain dumps. What actually went well this week? Write that down and just dump. From this, what can I actually learn? What can I learn from like how I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, what I've written down? And like, instead of like, I just have to remind my girls all the time, and even me, like I was feeling really stressed with a lot of things going on with work. And then I was like, I wanted this. I actually wanted this. So you have to remember that. One of my girls was complaining the other day in the gym. I was kind of pushing her to her limits, but that's what I'm here for. And she was like, oh, like I don't want to do it. And I was like, you wanted this. And then she shut up. And I was like, not to be a cunt, lovingly, you wanted this. You said you wanted this. We're doing this. And she was like, yeah, I know. Because she really wants to cut for summer. We're really working on her relationship with food. I said, you fucking wanted this. So let's do it. Like lovingly, I need to say it to myself too. Don't complain because you asked for this and you wanted this, right? So appreciate where you're at and remember what you fucking asked for. And if it's too far out of reach, that's okay. You can retract. You can come back and be like, that's a little much right now. I need to change. That's fine. But don't forget what you wanted. Anchor into your habits. Lastly, do the things that actually build your dream life. As I said, keeping up with your sessions, keeping up with things like I don't even want to say what I was about to say actually. Retracted. I literally have girls that will say that they're like struggling with things and drop all their habits. And I'm like, that is the opposite of what we want to do right now. We want to keep up those habits, maintain those things. And I think if you're getting in the territory of having to block people from your stories because you're hiding things, you're up to no fucking good, you're lying, like you need to go back to the loneliness episode and get in deep with yourself because there's something going on there. And the reason you're unhappy is because you're acting in such scarcity. You're worried about everyone else and you're stressing about what everyone else is thinking of you, which means it starts with you. Anyway, to close this one off, life dysmorphia, why am I stuttering on that every second time I do it? Isn't forever, but if you don't catch yourself doing it, you're going to like miss your whole 20s and you're going to feel miserable for like your whole 20s. Like, trust me, you really need to figure out like, where did I ask for this? Where am I leaving more on the table? What do I have more energy to give? And it's not just about ticking boxes. It's actually about figuring out what you want. Figuring out what you want your life to look like. Where can you work towards it and backing yourself? Just being so like radical in like, cool, that was a failure. I move on. You know what I mean? Like, and not actually stressing too much. But I would love to hear from you guys. Slide into my DMs with some realizations from this episode, some moments where you feel like you're doing that in your life right now. If you've ever said that you're feeling behind because of uni or any of the things, I would love to know. That is all from me. I will be seeing you in my DMs. Make sure you rate the podcast 5 stars, follow on Spotify, subscribe on YouTube, all of the things. It really helps me just grow the podcast. And maybe in the new year, we will bring on some special guests, but we need to grow first. So help me out with that one and I will catch you all in the next one. Mwah. That's a wrap on another episode of Navigating Your 20s. Thank you so much for joining me and taking the time to listen. If you enjoyed the conversation, vibes, and got something out of today, please feel free to send me a DM with any key takeaways and feedback or share on your socials and tag me so we can connect. If you like today's episode and you're wanting more from me, you can find me on all socials at success.withjess.